Hello, Carrie Burchill here with North Star Coaching, sharing some strategies today about slowing down the day-to-day spin. So, if you are experiencing the day-to-day spin, it may very well look something like this. You have an issue, you put in a quick fix, go figure, another issue pokes up, you fix it again, the pattern repeats. So you may find yourself looking like that issue fix, issue fix, issue fix, right? And that's what we're here to talk about today is how do we get out of that rat race? Because even if you win the race, at the end you're still a rat. That is not a place we want to be in. I was working with some clients this morning and they came up with a couple of analogies that I thought were really powerful. I actually jotted them down. One of them was just that goal of like being super busy, but not looking that busy. Not appearing like you're unapproachable as a leader or too busy to help people. That awareness, that comment brought me back 5 or 10 years ago. I worked in an organization where I could see so many opportunities around me, like things really needed to be helped. And I was a duck with my feet going like crazy underwater. I was in constant spin, reacting to things, responding, trying to help, and at the end of the day feeling completely not only exhausted but depleted because I wasn't able to have the impact I wanted to have because I was trying to manage stuff way out of my lane, out of my sphere of control. And what happened is, it's ironic because, like I say, this was 5-10 years ago, and someone said to me, at the beginning, Carrie, I wasn't a Carrie fan when we met and you used to work back in that company because you were just go, 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 go. Yeah, I was in the spin, perpetually in the spin. And that can make us seem unapproachable as leaders. And more importantly, nobody loves their job if they're spinning all day long, right? What we really want to see happening is more of this, where there's an issue that comes into play, there's a solution, we look at new issues, but we really get to like the root cause of things to really generate sustainable solutions. Good, that went back to camera nicely for me. Yay. Right, okay, so issue fix, issue fix, issue fix, putting out fires all day long and not really getting to the person who has the box of matches. That's a problem, right? I really resonated with a quote that I made from Sonnenschein recently, who was saying that, if you think that you're dealing with the world like it was in 2020, just at the break of the pandemic, without changing your mindset, without changing your staffing, without changing how you approach your work, you're nuts. And if we let ourselves remain in this perpetual spin, you're nuts. So, strategies to get out of the spin. First and foremost, take a look at this. What is in your control? And I always joke that this box of stuff that's in our control should be way smaller. What we end up doing, you're not going to be surprised by this, is we end up focusing on the stuff that's out of our control. So one thing that really creates that spin and that urgency and the reactionary part of us is trying to manage this stuff that's out of our control. So I think back to that organization that I worked with, where I just saw opportunities all over the place. Like my feet were on fire. I felt I needed to go faster, be the duck, paddle harder, because I was trying to manage everything outside of my control. So if you really had a hard look at what's in your control and got yourself to that place where you could let go of some things that you see but realistically are not in your control, then you'll find yourself spinning less and making more momentum. So right now, just in your own mind, think about something you're working on that is frustrating. It's like pushing a boulder, hard to get stakeholders involved, hard to sort of move it forward. What is that work? And honestly ask yourself, in that work, what piece do I actually manage? What Can I maybe influence? There's certainly some value in that ripple effect that you have. And then being honest with yourself, what's out of your control? The second thing about spinning that I really want to tap into today is the power of reflection. I can't emphasize this enough. In all the work that I do with leaders, leadership development, training, coaching, facilitation, group work, reflection is king, because the act of reflecting actually slows our head down. So think about what is working for you. We want to reflect on the good stuff too, so you can do more of the good stuff. I always say we grow the positive, right? What is in momentum? It is working. What strategies did you use to do that? So for example, I work with some groups, heterogeneous groups from different organizations, or I can come into a company and work with a select group of leaders to really slow down and start measuring how they show up as leaders, statistically measure their emotional intelligence, their soft skill development. And in that work, we really actively listen to each other, ask great questions, slow down. And it doesn't matter how many dozens of groups I've led doing this. When groups come together and they're sort of put in this cohort of reflection to slow down and strengthen their leadership, see where their gaps are, see where their strengths are. Invariably, what happens with these groups is they focus on outcomes. I want to get a strategic plan. We're behind on the work. I want to hire the right people. I want to increase retention. I want to get promoted. I want to, whatever, fill in the blank outcome. What happens is when we focus only on outcomes, we are throwing ourselves in the spin. You are then the duck of activity, and we're forgetting the transformational work that has to happen in ourselves as leaders. And some of that transformational work comes from reflection. So yes, I do want to get the strategic plan going. What I realize is, in order for me to get the space to do the thinking for the strategic plan, I need to delegate more. Well, if I delegated more, that means I have to let go of control, or maybe accept things being done a little differently than how I would like to do them. I won't use the word micromanaging, but maybe that might come into play. So really reflecting, looking at where you're rocking it and doing more of that good work. And in that reflection process, you'll start to identify, where am I spinning? Where am I that duck underwater? And what do I need to do to let go of some of that stuff so that I can focus on transforming my leadership? Because when I transform my leadership, then I have the outcomes that I want, right? If I'm just pushing for the outcomes, ask yourself, are they the same outcomes from 2020? Are you approaching that with the same mindset, the same kind of people, construct, structures? Many of us are still kind of grabbing onto the way we used to do things because it's comfortable. I know I can be successful. I've done that work before, so I'm going to do it again because it worked before. And of course, we all know that 2022, 2023, whenever you're looking at this video, it's not the same year as it was in 2020. So what do you need to shift in yourself as a leader? And that awareness comes from reflection. So 2 strategies so far. The first one is manage what you can control and be honest to pull away from those things that you're really trying to influence. Second thing is reflect on where things are going, how they're going, how all that's working. Okay. Third thing is, you really don't do 1 and 2 very well without a partner, a trusted person in accountability, a coach, pick me. Doesn't really matter. You just don't pull out of the spin alone. Yeah, that sounds simple. It's not, right? For you to kind of talk through your spin, it puts you in a vulnerable space. You've got to get out of the spin to talk. You've got to reflect when you're out of the spin. All those things are hard, right? We don't want to sort of identify that we're spinning. So think, who's your trusted buddy at work? who gets some of the dynamics. I was coaching somebody yesterday who was joking about having dinner one night when it was a spinny kind of day and just saying, but one more thing at dinner, but I'm not quite, right? Having that person where you can unravel a little bit with them and sort of make sense of the pieces that come out of that. And maybe it's a family member, a loved one, maybe it's a best friend, maybe it's a colleague, maybe it's a coach. It needs to be someone who's not only going to listen. Because we can spin and rant all day long. Ranting, definitely get some like steam, get it out of your system. Ranting isn't where you want to stop though, right? You really want that partner, that accountability person, the slow down your spin person to be someone who's going to stretch you to say, hang on a second, like what are you going to do? You tell me, like this is your world, but let's slow down for you to think about how you need to transform yourself to get the impact and the outcomes and the ripple effect that you really want in your environment. So slowing down the spin, this is no small feat. This is hard work. 3 strategies I really want you to think on today is manage what you can control. Like be aware of what that is, honestly. 2 is to reflect. When we're in the spin, we just don't reflect, right? Because we're so busy fighting fires. Next thing, next thing, next thing. So slow down to reflect. And the third thing, which can't really happen effectively, the first 2 can't really happen effectively without this third thing, which is have a person that you feel safe to process where you're spinning, what's going on, what those variables are. What happens when we pull out of the spin? Well, you're going to set yourself up for more success. It sounds counterintuitive to sort of go slow here to get the outcomes that you want. You need to go slow to go fast. I know, as I say that, you know that I'm right, and you're like, oh, that's still so hard to do, Carrie. I don't know if I can. Yes, get a person that you trust, that you can just go, whew, that was a monster day. This is, the 18 different places that I got pulled, because that conversation will help you slow down. That conversation with the trusted person will help you identify what you can control. And when we control our spins and get to the root cause of what's really causing the spin, then we start seeing the operational outcomes. Then we start seeing the return on investment. Then we start seeing the strategic path to help us achieve those ambitious goals that we have. So, I'm Carrie Birchall. Let me know if you want to be a part of these roundtables that I have, where we really slow down with other leaders, help us reflect, to think through how we need to transform our leadership, how we show up to achieve those ambitious outcomes. If you want to be a part of a roundtable, I'm just starting some new cohorts for that. There's also like the LinkedIn, Facebook free communication groups if you want to be a part of that. And of course, coaching, leadership development, and training is also on the table. So I really want to help you slow down to go fast. We need to work on our communication so that we can build trust and productivity. And that all happens by slowing down first. Let's be in touch. Have a great day.